Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome on our YouTube page, in our Facebook group, and on our Facebook page. We are live in 3 different places at once, and we are doing one final last live stream for our big masterclass for the fact that our International Organic Skincare Entrepreneur Program is currently open, and we just wanted to do one big Ask Us Anything. So we are here for as long as it takes to answer your questions, basically. But before we get to that, let's do some introductions. My name is Lorraine. I run Formula Botanica. And if you've been watching our masterclass, and we've had over 40,000 people, I think 41 or so thousand people take part. You've watched the fact that we've obviously been hosting this massive free training, lots and lots of people going through it, amazing feedback we've had from all around the world. And I hope you've had a fantastic time in there if you've been doing it. If you've been watching it, then you've seen me in there. And I'd like to introduce you to Ken, who is our partner manager. But maybe you can introduce yourself, Ken.
Yeah, hello, everyone. Good day, good evening, wherever it is that you are in the world. Welcome to this live stream. And I hope you all enjoyed the masterclass. We've been releasing the lessons over the last 2 weeks. And I hope you've been participating, you've been completing the lessons, you've been watching them. And I've joined the very same masterclass just a few months ago, and I've rolled into the International Organic Skincare Entrepreneur Program a few months ago. I was at that decision where probably some of you are right now, where I was like, should I invest? Should I make this step and, buy this course bundle and start formulating? And today I work at Formula Botanica, which I never thought of a few months ago. And I'm the partner manager. So Lorraine snatched me. And here we are on this live stream. So if you have any questions about the program, about the enrollment, about the courses, like Lorraine mentioned, anything, ask away. This is your chance to get your questions answered live from us.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was more than a few months, though. It was a few years ago that you enrolled with us, wasn't it?
Well, I don't even think it was 2 years. I think it was like 18 months or something, because it was September. It was September, not last year, the one before. Yeah, so 2019.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah,
and
not
Ken
too
has already stormed through his courses and now works at Formula Botanica. Awesome. So we are here for the next while to answer anything that you would like to ask us about Formula Botanica, about anything to do with our masterclass, and obviously anything to do with our entrepreneur program. But I think, given that you have stood in the shoes of the people who are watching today, maybe I could ask you a question first of all, Ken, which is, what's it like when you first get started at Formula Botanica? What's it like when you haven't formulated before and suddenly you get started?
Okay. So I did the masterclass as well. Like I mentioned, I went through the 4 lessons, and I enrolled for the same program, the Skincare Entrepreneur Program, and you get access to 6 courses right away. And it can be very overwhelming when you think of, oh my God, there are 6 courses I need to do, but you do it one step at a time. So I listened to the orientation week that was hosted by Formula Botanica, where lots of useful tips were given by the student mentors, by the student experience team. And that is every enrollment that's happening, you will have that access to additional support and help. And I think the most and best top tip that was there was one step at a time and start with the diploma in organic skincare formulation. And that is what I did. So focus on formulation, focusing on, learning how to formulate. And I had no experience in it whatsoever, complete beginner. And you learn about the ingredients, you start to research the ingredients. You do your first formulations, and some of them go really well and some of them don't. And then you try it again. And at some point you have this breaking point where out of a sudden, this butter that always was grainy, out of a sudden it works, and it's so creamy and fluffy and amazing with all the learning materials that you have in the courses. And it's the best feeling ever when you break through those more difficult formulations. And some of them you thought, like I think I mentioned that before, when I went through the course, I thought I'll be making serums and facial lotions, and my most famous product to make is cleansers. I just love it. But you get to know so many different products that are in this course. So slowly and gradually, if you're a beginner, you start formulating, you probably get pulled in by all the amazing support, by the Facebook groups that we run, and you will learn so much from your community, from other students, from the team. that it will just come to you. And then the nice thing is, once you have a little bit of experience with formulating, once you have your, you know a little bit about your ingredients, then don't want to say it just comes to you. It's like, for me, it's like a stress relief sometimes. I have a formulating day. I lock myself in, I get all the ingredients out, and I think of what am I going to do today. And how amazing is that if you can have that as your job? Like if your work actually involves formulating, being creative, making products that help you or help others with their skin concerns, or making the skin glow, or whatever it is that you want to achieve with your products, is just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you hit the nail on the head there as well with the fact that we have this big community. And we had a big milestone yesterday, didn't we? When I'm just going to announce it here, we enrolled our 13,000th student ever. I mean, that is just phenomenal. I've been sort of counting down the numbers anyway, but I was so excited to see that. And I know that we are well on track to, the next 20,000 students in the coming years as well. There are just so many people who want to learn to formulate. And we now have students in 177 countries worldwide.
Yeah, amazing.
It's amazing. My mind.
I mean, you could see it here in the beginning when people were introducing themselves and where they're from. It's so diverse, and people are literally from all over the globe. And that is so nice as well in the Facebook groups, because you get to interact with everyone. And if you have a question, you post your question in there, and it usually doesn't take long for someone to reply. For example, if you're outside of Europe, you're in a bit more remote place, and you want to know, where can I find this ingredient? There will be someone in that country that probably will have looked for this ingredient, and they will tell you, oh, I'll buy it from here, or check this website. So it's very, very nice, Or I love the post when people formulate and something maybe doesn't go well. And they post it and say, this is what I've done, here's my formula, what went wrong? And people jump in that are a bit more experienced. They will tell you, oh, try it this way, or try to put this one first. And then you get this, like I mentioned, this enlightening moments where all of a sudden it works. And it was just one little tweak to it that will make this product absolutely amazing. And then you see all the people that graduate and that start their brands. And you had quite a few live sessions the last couple of days with some of our graduates. And it's just so inspiring to see people that are further down their line of their courses, and they're ready to start their skincare brand, or have started already. And that is also really nice to just experience that journey alongside as well.
Yeah, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, sorry. And I mean, just, you have to get started with it. You practice and you practice and you practice, and it's very practical, the courses. And through that, you get your formulations right. And then once you decide that you want to make your own business out of it, then I would recommend, obviously, start with the business course that is part of that bundle as well, because that teaches you everything on how to set up your organic skincare business. So what is your brand going to be like? Where are you going to sell? How do you work with suppliers? All those aspects are covered in there. So I think the reason why I love this bundle is it has everything inside that you need if you want to start a business in the organic skincare industry. And everything is in there, from formulating to the business side, to the advanced formulations, to the stability testing, the preservation. It's a all-rounder package.
Yeah,
and that's why I love it so much. I'm an advocate for it, because I've done it myself.
Exactly. And of course, I was interviewing two students this week, or two graduates this week, I should say, who have gone through the program as well. So over on our Instagram feed, you can still watch the replay where I did an interview with Koiran, who runs Osco Skincare. She started an anti-pollution skincare brand in 2019, 2018. Oh, I'm losing track now. It's been a long week. And she's created, I just want to show off her serum, actually. This is her pollution defense serum. So we were talking about this over on Instagram, about why she created the brand and what's in her formulations, and how she set it all up, etc. And then yesterday over on Facebook and on YouTube, I interviewed Robin from Sunlux, who's in California, also very lovely. And this is her red tea serum. She's made an antioxidant rich brand, which is for people who've been in the sun, to deal with any sun damage. Sorry, I've got my little notes in there that she sent with the product. These are her serums. So both of those interviews are still available if anyone wants to watch them, because they took our program and they changed their life, much like all the graduates behind me, much like the ones I have here on my desk in front of me. This is Moira in Scotland with her anti-chafing balm for ultra runners, or this is Emma from the Sunday Standard in Chicago, USA, who's created this amazing day oil. And I've got a few of her other products as well. But look at
the color. It's so nice.
I love that. It's got the blue tansy in it.
Mm.
Well, this is Anka, who studied with us many years ago. Actually, she was one of our first ever students in Australia, and she runs Edible Beauty Australia. And this is her, what's it called? This is her Sleeping Beauty Purifying Mousse. I mean, look at the color on that. Bright pink. It smells really good as well. She's doing really well. She has almost 80,000 followers on Instagram, which is amazing. You know, and obviously I've been talking as well about Nopalera, our graduate Sandra in New York, who's created this brand. She only launched in November, and she's already stocked by 50 different retailers across the US. And this is her moisturizing botanical lotion bar, which is very cool as well. So these people have studied with us and they have changed their life. And we want that for you too, which is why we're here today, obviously, to answer any questions that you have about studying with us. So we have had a couple of questions in. We have had lots of people posting from all over the world as well. You know, I've seen the US, I've seen Ireland, I've seen Sri Lanka, I've seen Canada, Cambodia, Pakistan. I can't keep up. One person said, add Sri Lanka to your list. Believe me, we already have lots of students in Sri Lanka on our list.
For sure.
All over the world.
Yeah.
Okay, where do I start? And a few people have also said they've enrolled, which is fantastic to see. Hang on, let me just find the...
So for some reason, I can't scroll through the questions. I can only see the latest couple. So you will need to pull them up, Lorraine.
Yeah, no props. Well, okay. Okay. I really have my brand. I need to have a certificate. Okay, what am I supposed to do? So this is where obviously Formula Botanica can help. If you have a brand and you want to get certification in that brand, and obviously, or in formulation or starting an indie beauty brand, then we have several courses for that. Do you want to talk us through them, Ken, while I scroll through the comments to figure out where I am?
So part of the Organic Skincare Entrepreneur program, like I mentioned, it's a bundle of 6 courses, really. And our best-selling course is the Diploma in Organic Skincare Formulation. It's suitable for beginners, but also if you're an advanced formulator, this is a really good course to take. It takes you through various formulations for face and body. We cover some regulatory aspects of formulating in there as well, a little bit of marketing. So it's kind of an all-rounder course, and it's a really, really good one to have. You will find our graduates really showing this course off as well. So once you graduate and you have your certificate, your diploma, your badge, that is something you can put on if you already have a brand, you can put it on your website, on your LinkedIn, on your social. And it's just kind of, this quality seal to show the world that you studied with us and that you're a Formula Botanica graduate. I actually was in touch a while ago with a contract manufacturer asking about formulations, and they've checked out my LinkedIn, and they've seen that I'm a graduate. And they actually, the first question they asked was, why are you asking us to help with formulations? Because we've got lots of Formula Botanica students that use us as their contract manufacturer. We know that you guys can formulate. So it was very interesting. It was very good. And they actually asked for some advice. So it's a very, very good course. Then linking with that maybe is the advanced diploma. So already, like you mentioned, you have your brand already. The advanced diploma is very, very good if you want to create niche products, if you want to create high performance products, if you want to experiment with different ingredients and do certain tests and observe what happens if you use different emulsifiers, if you use chelators, if there's many different aspects to it, all to do with the advanced formulation of your products and your formulas. Then we have the 2 certificates in this bundle, which is stability testing and preservation. And the reason why I mentioned them together, because they're obviously very important if you're planning to sell your products, because you cannot sell products that aren't stable or safe or well preserved. So those are 2 really, really important certificates to do. They will help you. I truly believe they will help you in the long run saving money, because if you do certain tests at home, if you test for stability, if you check for preservation, and you follow what we give you in that course, it will save you money down the line when you go to a lab to get your product registered, and they will tell you, actually, it's not stable, or it's not well preserved, or the shelf life will only be 3 months. You can avoid all this by doing those courses beforehand, testing your products, and then you will have an idea, do I need to go back to the drawing board and maybe change something in my formulation, and only then go to the lab to register them and get them, tested again, or am I ready to go? And that, can be saving lots and lots of money if you want to go onto the market. And it's essential as well to do that. You want to make sure that your customers have safe products that they can use. Then another big course that's in there, and I think that's a really, really important one, is the business course. So our beauty business brand management, and I know, Lorraine, you love that one. and I love it too, because I really think a lot of people oversee that aspect. So obviously, we've got lots of students enrolling because of formulation, and that's what's at the heart of most of our students, is the formulating aspect of the products. And you can probably see with all the graduates that we have, they're very passionate about formulating. But obviously, what you cannot underestimate is the business aspect of it. And you've seen the beautiful brands Lorraine was just holding up a few minutes earlier. These are things we cover in the business course. We cover things like, what is your marketing strategy? Who's your target customer? What is your brand strategy? What is your branding like? What is your packaging like? Where do you get the packaging from? Where do you get your products manufactured? Or are you going to do them yourself? How do you work with retailers? And all those sort of things that can really bring your brand from like a little living room business out to the world. That is what's in the business. Brand management. And I actually just read a comment a few minutes ago in our online classroom where one of our students completed this course just now. It was literally an hour ago. And he said, there was so much in this course that I need to translate to my brand. And it was absolutely enlightening. There's things you would never think of. And to find this information online, you wouldn't. It's all, we can find it all for you in one course. So everything you need to know if you want to start your brand is in there. It's a one-stop shop. And it's my favorite course as well, because I learned so much about starting a business.
I'm holding up all these graduate products while you talk. I feel like one of those game show girls showing off with that hand models. But it's truly incredible to see what some of our graduates have produced. You sort of you look at it and you think, wow, they learned how to turn a formulation into a business, because you hit the nail on the head there. I think a lot of people forget that you do have to learn how to start a business as well. They often think, oh, well, I've done the formulation bit, it'll be fine, it will just sell. But that's not how it works, obviously, which is why we have that program in there. And actually, we've just had a question in about, here we go. Does the course teach how to get organic certification, such as Cosmos? So our diploma in beauty brand business management actually includes about, I should know this because I wrote that section, I think it's about 20 different certifications that you can get, because there are so many. So you can now become certified in organics, in vegan, in paleo, in eco-friendly, in climate neutral. There are so many different types of certification, and that's where you have to figure out what fits best for your brand. Now, most certifications tend to have a similar approach. Organic is maybe a little bit more stringent, where sometimes they will come and inspect. Well, they will come and inspect your facilities as well, and they'll want to know a lot about how you roll and how you work. But yeah, we teach you how to become certified as well, if that is something that you want. Not everyone does. Some people don't go down that route, like our graduates Bybee. They're a vegan brand. They're not vegan certified to my knowledge. Oh no, they are. They've got the Vegan Society on there. I should not do them an injustice by saying that. But quite a few of our graduates, they say I am vegan, or I am paleo, or I am natural, and they don't go and get that certification that goes with it. So it depends on what you want for your brand. Okay, I'm just going to put this one up actually. Marcy asks, are there any free courses? I'm in the United States. We are constantly teaching free courses, Marcy. Like we're about to wrap up tomorrow a free masterclass with over 41,000 people. There is still time to sneak in if you'd like to. I'm sure someone in the team can put up the masterclass link. You'll have to jump in and binge watch it, because it's only going to be up for another less than 24 hours, actually.
You gotta get on that.
It's been so exciting hosting this, hasn't it? I mean, there's been so much going on.
Yeah, I mean, the Facebook group as well, all the comments in there is just so nice to see. And towards the end, obviously, people were formulating, right? So they were sharing their formulations and what they've done, and lots of questions in there. It was really nice to see the engagement and the positivity as well. And It's also really nice to get the community together, because it's, when you go out with your friends, I mean, how many skincare formulators do you know in your circle? Well, maybe not going out so much these days, but how many people do you know in your circle of friends? And now you go into this Facebook group, and there you go, they're all formulators, and there are thousands of them, and it's so nice to just exchange your opinions and knowledge and experience. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, it is. And that's also what Robin said. So I'm just looking at the torrential rain outside my window. That's also what Robin said on the live stream I did with her yesterday, because she said she met some study buddies through her course, and she's now really good friends with them, and they challenge her, and she has so much fun sort of talking formulation with, and we all geek out together, really, don't we? Which is a lot of fun.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, interesting questions coming in. We had a question about our hair care course. Let me bring that up. Someone asks, for those interested in the diploma in organic hair care formulation, do you recommend they take a different course to start with, or can they jump straight into the hair care course? So I think the thing to recognize is that it's easier to make skincare than it is to make hair care. And anyone who tells you otherwise doesn't understand hair care formulation. So hair care formulation is often based on water, which makes sense because we're generally washing, styling, grooming our hair in the shower, and those formulations that sort of flow down the drain. And because they contain more water, they need more stabilization, they need preservation, they need you need foaming products often in there as well, so that it's a little bit more advanced. So if you're interested in becoming a hair care formulator, and I really do recommend that you go down this route, because hardly anyone is doing this, like it's this massive untapped niche, and I've been saying this for like 4 years, because we've been teaching our hair care diploma for 4 years, and everyone's still like, no, I want to do skincare, which is fine, but just remember, massive untapped niche right here that no one is stepping into. So I do recommend that you learn how to become a formulator with our diploma in organic skincare formulation, learn the basics, and then move on to hair care formulation. And honestly, go do it, go launch a brand. I will be your biggest fan for life, because it is huge, and I really would love to see more people doing this as well. So many opportunities, aren't there?
Yeah, and I mean, the nice thing is as well, and we go through that in some of the courses, and for example, the advanced diploma is one of them, where we go into finding your niche and exploring different niche markets, no matter if it's vegan or halal. There's so many different niche markets out there. In the beauty business brand management diploma as well, we're looking into what is your niche, what is your target customer, why are you selling to this person, what are you what does your brand do, why are you doing what you're doing? And this is so important, and through all that, through those different activities within the courses, you really find your little niche within, and that will establish your whole brand. So with Robin, for example, with Sunlux that you interviewed, it was the whole, obviously, antioxidant rich because of sun damage. So through working through all those activities, you get to that core of what it is that you want to do and why.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to hear from everyone in the comments, because I mean, we're getting so many comments in at the moment, which is awesome. Post up and tell me, have you ever formulated before? And if you have, type formulator. And if you haven't, just type beginner or new, because I want to see exactly who's watching, so that we can make sure that we answer this right for you as well.
Yes.
So this is a great question. I'm wondering if you could take this one for me. Can someone become a manufacturer upon completion of your course?
Yeah, so we teach you how to formulate, and that means that you can make your own products. Now, when you say manufacturer, I'm not sure if you mean if you then make your own. So if you formulate your own products, you then produce them as well. You manufacture them and you sell them, which in most countries that's doable. Most countries you can formulate from home. You can set up a home lab, or you can dedicate a lab space for it. And we go into detail of that as well in our courses. And you can absolutely do that. So if that was your question, Omo, then it is a yes, depending on where you are in the world. But for example, I am in Dubai at the moment. And for example, there are some little workarounds that you need to do, but even there it's possible. So if you are in a country where it isn't as straightforward, I'm very sure that there is workarounds on that will get you there to become a manufacturer. But most countries you can.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, I mean, this is quite an interesting market, actually. A lot of our graduates complete their courses, then they're manufacturing, and some of them manufacture for each other. I've watched this over the years as well, because sometimes people don't want to be the manufacturer of their products, which is fine. I mean, I just held up Bybee, for instance, who are one of our graduates. They're producing over 1 million units a year. They clearly cannot do this in their kitchens. That would break them. But saying that, I've watched people make maybe churn out 500 units for another graduate at Formula Botanica. There's an opportunity there as well in the market. There are also opportunities for our graduates to become ingredient sellers or to do private label formulation. You don't just have to start a brand. I've watched some of our graduates become influencers. There are all sorts of things you can do once you learn how to formulate.
Yeah, or you end up at Formula Botanica like me.
We do like recruiting from inside our community, I have to say. We're like, oh, we really like this person. Let's see if they're going to work for us. Okay, let's see. This is a good one as well. Maybe you could take this one. I'm trying to scroll through the comments. In what order should we start the courses in the entrepreneur program?
Okay, so Vayana, I hope I say your name correctly. There is no particular order where you have to start the courses, but we recommend that you start with the diploma in organic skincare formulation, just because that covers the basics. And it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or advanced formulator. I definitely recommend to start with the diploma in organic skincare formulation. That will set you up, that will get you on track with formulating a variety of products, with researching, with getting basics of a business understanding, what you need in order to set up your brand. All of that is covered in that one course. And then as the next course, I think it depends where you want to take direction in. Is your focus on advancing your formulations more first, or is your focus on building up your business as a next step? Because depending on that, I would say you can do the advanced diploma or the stability certificate and the preservation certificate. Or if you want to take the business direction first, then you can do the business course. So it kind of depends on you at that stage. But for example, the business course is one course that if you have lots of study time at hand, or maybe sometimes you're waiting for ingredients that you're ordering, that is something you could do parallel a little bit here and there if you're organized enough. So if you feel you've got the capacity, then that is something you could do parallel, because obviously that is more the business aspect of your entrepreneurship. So about mindset, about what is your brand going to be like, what is your marketing strategy going to be like, how you're going to build up your business plan, those sort of aspects, and that you can always do while you formulate. But it also depends how much time you have, obviously, how much time you can dedicate to it. So I think that's the beauty of it as well. It's flexible, right? So all the courses are obviously online. You time it yourself. So if you have, for whatever reason, you've got a day a week that you can fully dedicate to studying, great, go for it. If you only have 2 hours a week because you're busy with school runs again because school opens and whatnot, then that's fine too. You would decide how much time you want to invest. And I think what I recommend as well is don't rush through the courses too much. Like, quality of study is also important. The more you do the activities, the more you formulate, the more you get out for it for yourself. But it really depends on you. You own it. You are the master of your studies.
Yes. Well, it's like you said on our live stream the other day, you're your own boss, which I thought was really cool. So we've got a question in about ingredient supplies. Before I jump on that one, I'd love for you, because I've seen lots of people saying, I'm a beginner, I'm new to this. If you have ever bought a skincare ingredient or a hair care ingredient before, tell me what the first ingredient was that you ever purchased in the chat. So for me, the first ever ingredient I purchased to formulate with was shea butter. How about you, Ken? Do you remember?
The first ingredient I bought is ingredients, because it was the starter kit from Naissance. Which entails all the products that you need for the diploma in organic skincare formulation. And the reason why I bought that is because I had no idea about ingredients and which ones we'll need and which one's better and which supplier to pick. And I thought, let me just buy this one. Everything's in one package, in one parcel, and let me take it from there. And then obviously in the checkout process, you see other ingredients as well. And I'm like, well, this looks nice. This sounds nice. Let me add this on. So, but yeah, my first ingredient was actually the starter kit. But the first ingredient I remember that I took out and that I opened and that I smelled was rose water. And I love rose water in whatever, in toners and cleansers and creams. I love the fragrance of it. It's light, it's flowery, it's fresh, and I love it. So that was my very first.
Awesome. Yeah, I can see some people already commenting. A lot of other shea butters, just like me. That was absolutely, it's the way to start, isn't it? It's where so many people begin. Someone else said almond oil. Tell us the first cosmetic formulation ingredient you've ever bought. And I'd love to see it. We've got so many beginners on the chat. It's wonderful to see.
Yeah.
But tying in with that, Carol asks the question, do you have a list of suppliers you could recommend to buy from in different countries? I'm trying to purchase from reputable suppliers. So Carol, I don't know if you've been going through our free masterclass, but actually we even provided a mini supplier guide with the masterclass, because there are so many fantastic suppliers around the world. And you are in the USA. I mean, you are in one of the best countries in the world to buy fantastic cosmetic ingredients as well. You've got, suppliers like Lotion Crafter, like Mountain Rose Herbs, like Formulator Sample Shop, who are big friends of ours. I think Essential Wholesale as well. You've got some incredible suppliers out there. But come and join the masterclass. Don't know if someone can put up the link in the chat for you, Carol. Come and join us and come and download it, because there are so many different suppliers out there now online, aren't there?
Yeah. And the nice thing is as well with our courses, you got additional resources, and one of them is a really extensive supplier list too. So there is hundreds of suppliers in there from all over the world. So you'll and also the student community, like I mentioned, sometimes if you're in a bit more remote area, you ask a question there, someone will have an answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. What else?
It gets really addictive, I have to say, once you get out there.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the ingredients. So it's like witch hazel, almond oil, shea butter, beeswax.
Yeah. Okay, I've got another great question here. So actually, I even posted something up about this the other day on my channels, because I feel so passionately about this. So do I need to have a chemistry background before enrolling on your course? No, you do not need to be a chemist to be a formulator. I cannot repeat this point enough. I get asked this question so much. Not just do you need to be a chemist to be a formulator? I'm also constantly asked if I am a chemist. I'm a biologist, but I'm not a chemist. Although we have chemists and formulators and pharmacists and biochemists and all sorts of amazing people working in our team at Formula Botanica. But no, you don't. I mean, if you think about it, humans have been making beauty products for millennia. And I think they've even found some sort of old fossilized creams from the Roman times. They weren't chemists either. Everyone has been doing this for a very long time. And the thing is that, you can empower yourself with the skills to become a formulator, working with the most incredible natural ingredients. And all of these brands that I've been holding up, they're not chemists either. They've studied with Formula Botanica. They had no science background. They had no chemistry background. And yet, here they are selling their products all over the world and changing people's lives with them. It's a bit of a myth that's been put out there by the mainstream beauty industry. If you've ever walked into a department store and you've watched, I even walked into one the other day and I was looking for it. A lot of the women at these counters are wearing white lab coats. The beauty industry has created this whole picture of you have to be a scientist in order to make these products. You have to wear a white lab coat. You have to be stood in a lab. You have to have chemistry qualifications. No, you do not. None of that is true. So I just want to assure you that you can make the most wonderful body butters and oils and lip balms and cleansers and toners and shampoos and serums and whatever it is you want to do by coming to study with us. And I promise you will create amazing formulations. I mean, look at all of the brands behind me. It speaks for itself, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit like learning how to cook. Like you get a recipe that you follow usually, right? And you make your whatever it is, your favorite dish that you found a recipe of, and then you practice that, and you will get to the stage where you can do that without the recipe because you know exactly what will go in it. And then at some point you realize, oh, you know what, this is boring. Let me change the recipe up a little bit, and you start adding different spices, and instead of pasta, you use rice, or instead of beef, you use chicken, or whatever it is. So you should start mixing things up. And this is similar, I think, with formulating as well. You have certain frame formulations, we call them, which is basic formulations that you follow, and that will create a basic lip balm or a basic lotion or whatever it is. And as you learn about the ingredients and you learn to research, that is then where you start to formulate. And that is then the process where you start to exchange ingredients, where you play with the ratios. So what happens if I reduce the wax and I increase the oil, or I use a different wax? What is the texture then like? And based out of that, you start to experiment and you start to create all these lovely products. And I can assure you as well, like Lorraine mentioned, you do not have to be a chemist. I had no formulation experience whatsoever. I did one DIY workshop when I was on holiday on how to make your skincare products. It was like body butters and lip balms and things. That was it. No experience whatsoever. And you can create beautiful products, and after a while as well, you specialize in certain things. So like I mentioned, maybe you will notice that you really like cleansers, or you really like to make shower gels, or you want to go into hair care and you want to do the hair care course instead. So there is lots of different angles in there and opportunities. And you start simple. That's how you start. And then from there, you take it step by step.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. So I'm seeing lots of ingredients being posted up. I've asked, if you're just joining us, I asked what was the first formulation ingredient that you ever purchased. Lots of shea butter, I have to say, and that was the same for me. Different carrier oils, avocado oil, cocoa butter, witch hazel, fantastic. The other thing I'd love to ask everyone watching is post up which formulation you'd most like to learn how to make. I'd love to see the answers to this, because I think that's going to be fascinating. Just put it in the chat. If it's a cleanser, type cleanser. If it's a serum, type serum. If it's a shampoo, type shampoo. Tell us. I'd love to see that. In the meantime, here's a great question, and I'm wondering if you could answer this one for me, Ken, is, are the courses graded by tutors, and is there a chance to fail?
Yes and yes. So
let's cushion the blow a little bit, huh?
So our diploma courses, well, actually not all courses, but most of our courses, they are graded by tutors. So what will happen, for example, let's just take the diploma in organic skincare formulation, because it's the most popular course, and it's probably the course that most people would start with if you enroll into the entrepreneur program. So in the diploma in organic skincare formulation, for example, you will have throughout the course quizzes that will test your knowledge, and they're automated. So they're graded by the system. They're things like multiple choice questions and things like that. So they're not graded by a tutor. You will progress through the course like with any e-learning platform that you may have come across before. But at the end of the course, there is a final course assignment, a final course project that is obviously formulation based on whatever you've learned in the course. So it will combine various aspects of the course, that a formulation is stable and safe and has a certain consistency, and why did you use the ingredients, and a little bit of branding and a little bit of marketing. So it's a whole assignment with lots of things that you learn throughout the course. And that is graded by a tutor. So that you will need to submit online. So it's nothing that you need to post or ship in. We don't want any, obviously you can see Lorraine has lots of products, so feel free to send some, but you don't have to. It's all about, how is the actual formulation on paper? What is your idea behind this product? Why did you choose those ingredients? So it's all written up as an essay, and you upload it in our platform. And then one of our grading tutors will look at that, will provide you feedback. And based on that, you will then pass or fail the course in some rare cases. However, we have a tutor forum in the courses. So at any point when you start creating your assignment, or even before in the course, if you have questions that you want a tutor to ask, you always have the tutor forum available. You can post your questions in there, and one of our grading tutors will reply to you. So if you, for example, want a second opinion from not community-based, sorry, I'm losing my tongue. If you want an opinion from one of our grading tutors, then you've got a tutor forum available. And I would always recommend, before you submit an assignment, ask your questions there, because there may be some points that you're not unclear of or you're not sure. And then please ask that, wait for the reply, and only then submit your assignment. In case you would fail, you will get detailed feedback from the tutors that will then tell you, this was really, really good, but you missed out this point. And then obviously you would get the chance to correct that after. But then we also have courses where you don't have a tutor graded assignment as well, like the smaller courses as well. But don't be scared of that. Don't be scared of that. I remember when I submitted my final product for the diploma in organic skincare formulation, I was quite nervous because, like I mentioned, a beginner, no idea about formulating. I was like, I hope it's good enough, I hope I will pass. And the feedback was just really, really, really lovely that I received. And actually, that was actually the point where I looked at it and I was like, oh wow, I did this. Like I can do this. I passed and I made a really nice product, So don't be scared of that. Don't be scared of that, really, and utilize the resources that you have, because at the end of the day, we as school, we want you to get the best out of you and out of your products and out of your creations, and we're here to mentor you as much as possible. So you use us. So you pay for this course, you have the tutor forum, use us, ask questions, use the community, and utilize it to the best that you can.
Yeah, and that's what makes us a school rather than just an online course. You know, we're here. We want you to succeed. I want you on my shelves. Well, not you personally. I want your products on my shelves. I want to be sat here on a live stream with you in 18 months' time going, tell me about your journey. What was it like? And you'll be able to go, I was watching you on this live stream, Lorraine, and I thought, I'm going to do this. And here I am 18 months later, and you're now holding my serum and it's being sold. You know, I've sold in 3 different countries already, or I've got 20 customers who've come back and bought from me 3 times. You know, those are the stories I want. And that's why we're doing this. So this isn't just an online course. This is an experience basically that will put you through school, and you'll come at the end, like Ken said, and say, I can formulate. I'm actually a formulator. Someone told me that my work was really good, and we want that for you too. So we've got more questions coming in, so I'm going to pick up the pace a bit. Spencer says, I'm based in Manchester, UK. How do you go about looking for a contract manufacturer, and roughly what would the deposit be like? So there are lots of contract manufacturers out there. You can find them pretty easily once you start to network in the industry. So the best way to do that is to start attending online events at the moment, and then once we're back to in-person, go to the SCS Formulate event in the UK, go to In Cosmetics Global. They do them all over the world, wherever you're watching. You know, In Cosmetics Korea, I think there's one in Singapore, there's Latin America, you know, so many different events. Saying that, go and check out Orion, because I know that they've just lowered their minimum order quantity in the UK to 2,500 units actually, and their MD Dan Williams has been over on LinkedIn talking about it. So that's my top tip. You won't be looking at a deposit though; you'll be looking at a minimum order quantity. So that's the thing that you have to think about, because you might have to order 2,500 units of your product, and you have to have a business plan for knowing how to shift that, which is why most of our students start by formulating themselves, and then once they're ready to scale up, they might go down that route, but not everyone does. Okay, wow, lots and lots of comments coming in. Thank you so much, everyone. It is fantastic, and I love the fact that you've all been posting up which formulations you want to learn to make. So lip balm, shampoo, lotions, oleo gels, more shampoo, hair leave-in conditioner, lots of hair care. I need you guys to be making hair care brands. Face cream, hand cream, anti-aging products, so many different things. I love to make serums, butters. Post up and tell us which formulation you most want to learn to make. I want your excitement here. I want to find out what you're up to.
I like the mix of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of it was mentioned already. Nice.
So All About Jackie over on YouTube says, I'm purchasing ingredients from Africa. Do I need to test them out to verify that they are organic, vegan, and natural? Or do you just go with what the supplier told me about the ingredients? Do you want to take this one while I scroll through the rest of the comments?
Okay. So, all right, obviously you want to produce skincare products that you most likely want to sell, and your suppliers are very important. You have to make sure that the ingredients you get are from a supplier that you trust, and with that comes certain paperwork. And we teach you that in our courses. It will be part of it. And what we say to our students is, if your supplier cannot provide you with the paperwork, then look for a different supplier, because chances are that, like you mentioned there, or you hinted there, that maybe the product is not really organic or not really natural. So it's really, really important that you work with a supplier that can produce and show you that paperwork and that paper trail of where the product came from, what it contains, you know, those sort of things. Because you will need that in most cases as well when you create your product, to then create your product information file, which comes at a later stage. But you will need to be able to show where your ingredients come from which supplier, and, you know, all the paperwork around it. So you don't need to test them as such, but you need to make sure that you get the paperwork from your supplier. And if they can't provide it, then look somewhere else. There was a similar question in the thread earlier where someone said, oh, can I just buy something, you know, in the grocery store and use that?
This one.
Exactly. So can we start off buying supermarket bought ingredients like oils, So this is a really good question, because sometimes it can be difficult to source certain ingredients, or maybe you need one ingredient, but you want to wait for the next order because you want to place a big order. So like I mentioned, you must have certain paperwork in order to produce cosmetics that you want to sell. However, if let's say you want to have first trials with, let me think of something, I can't think of anything. You mentioned turmeric there. So let's say you want to experiment with turmeric and see what it does in terms of smell, color, texture, then why not? You can start off, getting turmeric powder from the supermarket if that is available to you in that moment and you have difficulties getting it from a supplier. Do your first little experiments with it. But I would recommend as soon as possible, make sure that you get the ingredient from a trusted supplier that offers ingredients for cosmetic use. So for little trials at home, I would say it's okay, but you should avoid it. If there's no other way, if it's easy in that moment, do it. But ideally, cosmetic ingredient suppliers. I did use green tea powder as well in the beginning to experiment with, because I couldn't find it easily from a cosmetic supplier, and then I did. But it was good that I did the test before, because it was cheaper from the supermarket, and it gave me a bit of an idea of what happens in terms of texture to products and things like that, and how much I need to use to get color and scent and those sort of things. So it can be useful,
Yeah. A couple of questions coming in from people asking if this will be available afterwards or if we can repeat anything. Don't worry, the replay will be here afterwards. You can watch it back as many times as you want. And, obviously we have our big free networking group over on Facebook as well, which you're very welcome to join, called our Skincare Entrepreneur Mastermind. So come and join that. We've already got 45,000 people in there also. So yeah, very exciting. And if you can hear lots of banging behind me, it's because the wind is so strong that like everything's shaking. Someone asked somewhere, and I can't find the comment anymore, if we teach about international regulations. And the answer is yes. I mean, we have students in 177 countries around the world. That is huge. So we couldn't possibly just focus on, for instance, the UK, where Formula Botanica is based. We teach internationally. We are online. So when you enroll with us, we teach you how to meet the highest standards, though. And that's the thing to remember. So I don't care if you live in a country where there are no cosmetics regulations or the standards are really low. We're going to challenge you to go high, because that means that if you sell your brand globally, that you are ready to go in lots of different countries. So we encourage you to meet the EU standards, because even if you're in the States, even if you're in Australia, even if you're in Japan, even if you're in Nigeria, if you sell your products into the EU, you would have to completely redo all of your paperwork anyway and make sure that you meet those standards. But if you meet those standards from day one, you're pretty much ready to go anywhere in the world. So that's what we recommend. It's not as daunting as it sounds, actually, to get through the cosmetics regulations. There are just different steps. We break it down really simply for you. And once you go through those steps, you're flying. In fact, we even have a podcast on it. So if you find our Green Beauty Conversations podcast, it was episode number 3. So go all the way back in time and you'll find it on there. Okay, here's one for you, Ken. Is there any continued support for students after graduating from a course?
Yes, of course. So I think, not sure if you sense that, but our community is so big, and you will always be part of our online classroom on Facebook, which is obviously first stop shop for if you want anything from peers. The team is in there as well. If you want to know anything, if you want to chat with anyone, if you want to connect with anyone, that's kind of your first one-stop shop. I think you could see as well from the last couple of days, just based on the live sessions Lorraine has done, that if you are a graduate from us, we support our graduates. So if you start, your own brand, and you obviously have graduated with us and you're putting yourself out there in the world, we're more than happy to support that. And you can see Lorraine's shelf there again in the background. All those brands, you can be featured on our website and podcasts and live sessions. And I think generally we would also see that if that happens, that moment the sale goes up of those brands, obviously, when they're featured. So yes, there is support. And I think if you're, once you join the community, you're part of the community forever. And that's the beauty of it as well. And what I like about it as well is actually that there's lots of support, even though most people have the intention of starting their own business, it's very supportive. So I really love that people give each other tips and help each other out, rather than, of course it is competitive, but it's not negative at all. It's very, very supportive. And I really, really love that. That's something I noticed when I started scrolling through the classroom my first couple of weeks. So it's a really good community.
Yeah.
And there's the link to the gallery. Yeah, perfect. So there you can see all our graduates listed by region and have a look. And if you are a graduate with us, then please do tell us then when you graduate and when you launch your brand, and we will put you up there.
Yeah, I'm so proud of that gallery. I mean, we're working really hard to try and find all the graduates and bring them together, because the gallery is quite a new thing. But I think we've got almost 200 on there already, and this is a work in progress. I'm fairly sure we'll be up to 500 by the end of this year. We're just pushing. But there are so many incredible and talented brands in our community, and we want you to support them and buy from them. And that's also how we support them moving forward. Saying that, we do have some plans for an alumni program, so watch this space. Lots of things on the horizon.
Yes.
Okay, someone asks, do you have monthly payment plans on your school? So at the moment, our International Organic Skincare Entrepreneur Program is open right now. We've welcomed hundreds and hundreds of new students in already since it opened on Wednesday, and we close for enrollment tomorrow at 4 p.m. So there are now less than 24 hours left to enroll. And yes, that program does have a payment plan option with it. So if you head on over to the webpage for it, which is with this event, then you'll be able to have a look straight away at what is available for you. But if you have any questions, reach out to our admissions team. They are so helpful, so friendly, and they are there just answering. I think their fingers are probably on fire at the moment, dealing with all of the messages that are flooding in, because there are so many right now. And they're in the chat as well, putting up lots and lots of links. Okay, here we go. This is a good one as well, about ingredients. From my little experience in buying organic oils and hydrosols, there's variation in quality. I know a lot of factors play a role. What's your advice about that? Well, I'll start off. Maybe you can finish it off. The biggest factor influencing that is that you're working with botanical ingredients, and plants vary from batch to batch, from season to season, from environment to environment. And that is something that you do have to keep in mind when you're working with botanicals, which is, of course, another reason that a lot of the mainstream brands didn't really want to in the beginning, because it's so much easier to make a synthetic ingredient in the lab and then just replicate it over and over and over, and it's always the same. But of course, we don't necessarily want that. We want to work with lots of incredible herbs and flowers and seeds and buds and barks and roots and petals. And those do vary from season to season. But how about you, Ken? How have you found that in buying all of the ingredients that you've been formulating with?
Yeah, so that's absolutely true. And you can see, for example, think of an oil, avocado oil, for example, depending from which supplier you get it, the color is very different, even the thickness sometimes. So what I recommend is that you stick to the same supplier, because they would have their same supplier that probably has the same manufacturing method of that oil. That will bring a bit of consistency in. And then obviously depends as well, what kind of oil do you have? Is it a cold pressed, raw unrefined oil? That may differ in batch, like I mentioned, because the plant differs. If it's something that is more processed, obviously the more processed something is, probably the less it would differ. But it depends what is your products and your ingredients like, how natural and unprocessed and organic are your products versus still natural but maybe a little processed or nature identical. So depending on that, you can you work on different kind of with different ingredients already. And for me, the best thing to keep consistency is the same supplier. In a way, so that kind of ensures. But yes, there is variations in color sometimes. It can happen, but you can also disclaim it to your customers, and that's also, I think, a good selling point, because if you tell customers, this is a natural product, and as you know, exactly like Lorraine just explained it, plants are different. And if you buy your cream, and today it's a light yellow, and then the next batch is a little bit more darker, but it's the same ingredients, it can happen. But it's not a fault of quality. It doesn't mean that the quality is bad. It's just it happens. And actually, you will see some brands disclaiming similar things on their packaging as well.
Yeah. And you also mentioned something interesting there, which I think is worth pointing out, is a lot of the big brands, they like refined ingredients. And what I mean by refined is that they then strip out the things that make them colorful and make them smell. You often get this with cooking oils in the supermarkets. If you buy olive oil, the olive oil you buy is generally refined, and that means it doesn't have that strong flavor or scent or even color, which people don't necessarily want when they cook. And the same thing goes for the mainstream cosmetics brands. They want their creams to look as white as snow. And that's why when you buy refined ingredients, they don't really impart much of that goodness into the cream, because ultimately those chemical compounds that deliver that fragrance, that color, that scent, they are the ones that are also really good for the skin, which is why obviously we have that benefit on what the mainstream brands are doing. They are catching on, but yeah, they're like miles behind us, so don't worry about that. Okay, so we're here for just a few more minutes. So if you have any questions, if you have like a last minute thing that you are desperate to know, post it up in the chat and we will do our best to dive on it and answer it. But we've had fantastic questions already, haven't we?
And there was one question just now that I saw. Someone was asking, sorry, it says Facebook user, so I'm not sure who you are, but when signing up, when signing up for, there we go. Will all the 6 courses be unlocked from day one? Yeah. So the moment you sign up for the course, you get access to all 6 courses. And like I mentioned, you could start with any, but we do recommend to start with the diploma in organic skincare formulation. But yes, from day one, you've got access to all the courses that you purchased.
Yes. Exactly. And that's the thing. Our International Organic Skincare Entrepreneur Program is a bundle of the 6 courses that you need. In fact, our students voted for them. We said, which courses would you want to see in the Entrepreneur Program that could take you from beginner to brand owner to entrepreneur? And they voted. We had hundreds and hundreds of votes. They voted for these 6 courses and said, these are the game changers. So those are the ones we put in. We listened to our students. And all 6 are bundled together at 30% discount, which is built into the price. And enrollment is only open for another 23 hours. So we close at 4 p.m. UK time tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to take one more question and then we'll finish off. Okay. How about using ingredients that you have grown yourself, extracting what you need directly from the source rather than buying them all pre-made, such as olives, almonds, flowers, citrus, pomegranate, thyme, rosemary? You have a nice garden. I would love to come and visit. I don't have pomegranates or almonds or olive. Well, I do have some olives, but they're like, big. You can absolutely use your own ingredients. You can use them to make extracts. I will say some parts of the world are a little more stringent on paperwork around this, but that shouldn't stop you. I think absolutely you can work with them. And we all have made extracts as well, like infused oils and glycerites and tinctures and things like that you can put in your formulations. Have you ever made any of your own extracts?
I made quite a few glycerites. I remember a few months ago I was walking the dog and there was beautiful poppy flowers, like the really nice red ones. And I thought, oh, what happens if I throw them in glycerin? What happens like with the color? It was a beautiful red poppy glycerite. I did the same with pomegranate seeds because I wanted to extract the red, I did macerated oils, so I threw vanilla in there actually to get a bit of vanilla infusion into the oil. I put calendula in, calendula flowers, dried ones. So yeah, oils and glycerites so far.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I hope that inspires you and I hope that gives you an idea of what you can do in your business. So we have been going for almost an hour. Can you believe that? So many amazing questions have come in from everyone. So thank you very much. And just to remind you, enrollment does close in 23 hours, not 24 anymore. It's 23. It's going quickly. And we've got lots and lots of people joining us at the moment. And if you would like to, I know the team has put up the link in the chat. I know that the link is with this video as well on Facebook and on YouTube. So this is your time to shine. And I just wanted to say, you can look back at this time now and you can think, wow, it was a really strange time. What did I do with it? Or you could say, I signed up, I changed my life, I did something different. And that means that in 2 years' time, you're not looking back and thinking, oh, life was so hard. But instead, you're looking back and thinking, I took action. I created something that has lifted me above anything I could ever have imagined. Like the graduates I interviewed this week, I've graduated. I've got certificates in formulation. Now I'm launching my brand and I'm out there changing people's lives. You could be thinking that. You could also be thinking, I'm going to send my products to Formula Botanica and then I'll go on a live stream with Lorraine and reach thousands of people. And that's what I want for you. How much better would that be? I really want you to picture yourself in that situation, because you can't change what's happened, but you can change where you're going. And what I don't want for you is that you look back in a year's time and you regret that you haven't moved forwards. And if you enroll for the entrepreneur program now or in the next 23 hours and you do follow it, then, you know, in a year's time, you will look back and you'll think, I am a certified formulator. I did this. No one can take that away from you. And if you follow this course and you commit to it and you spend your time well and you have lots of fun studying, we can guarantee that you will see, or you will have this amazing experience. And we see it all the time from our really, really committed students. So if you really get into the program, you use the resources that are available, you might even launch a brand like all the people that we've been sharing with you. And there are so many more of them on our website. You know, we talked about our graduate gallery earlier, and these are the people that are in exactly the same position they were in the same position that you are now in. You are standing in their shoes 2-3 years ago. And all of them say the same thing. I wish I had done this earlier. Yeah. Like Robin said on the interview I did with her yesterday, which is still on YouTube and Facebook, you know, I wouldn't be where I am today without Formula Botanica. And you can do that too. And you've got 23 hours left. And we would love to welcome you into our community. So please do consider joining Formula Botanica, joining our International Organic Skincare Entrepreneur Program. And before you know it, you know, I'll be sat here with your formulations, showing them off to the world and putting them proudly on my shelf and hopefully interviewing you. So it's an exciting time for a lot of people, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you just mentioned it there, like you need to take, you know, you can take action for yourself, and this is the time to do it. I remember as well when I enrolled, because obviously you have the course bundle. I'm like, okay, is that the right thing to do? Should I maybe wait until next time? And I'm so happy I did, because it just gets you started, and you have to start. You have to make that first step to get the ball rolling and to take charge of what you want to do with your life. And if it's formulating, if it's your own organic skincare business, whatever it is, but you need to make that step. So 23 hours to go.
Exactly.
Step, really.
Exactly. We look forward to welcoming you into our community soon. So if you have any other questions, if we didn't answer your question, I do apologize. There were so many comments coming in. Thank you very much for joining in today. But if you do have any questions, write to us at hello@formulabotanica.com. Just come over to our website, formulabotanica.com, and click on contact. And you can speak to us through live chat, phone call, email, DM, you know, it doesn't matter. We love chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining me, Ken. It's been really lovely hanging out with you again.
Nice spending time with you again. And yeah, I hope I see lots of new students in the online classroom soon. And we already seen a few people enroll over the last couple of days, obviously. So it's great to see you. Best of luck to all of you. I can't wait to see the first formulation posts going up as well with your first trials. And yeah, like Lorraine mentioned, any questions, keep them coming to the school, and our team is happy to jump on them right away. And thanks for your time.
Yes, thank you so much. We've got to go and get the show on the road with all the people who have already enrolled, the action takers out there. We'll be working with the hundreds of new students in our community who are already working through their first modules. And as you say, I can't wait to see the products that they make and the brands they create. Yeah. So thank you very much. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, everyone, for watching us. Thank you for joining in. And I hope you have a great day. And I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.